So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, there's breaking news. Al Heyman has made a offer to Jaime Manguia, I believe. Or PBC and Al Heyman have made an offer for Jaime Manguia to fight Jermall Charlo for his WBC middleweight title. This is a good fight. I like this fight for Jermall Charlo. It'd be a live opponent and one of probably the best guy that maybe Jermall Charlo has faced or is going to face. Debatable. Charlo's been in the ring with some decent names, but Manguia is definitely a good test. I like that fight. Not saying that I'm overly excited, but yeah, I'm a bit surprised because Charlo's got many fighters within the PBC that he can fight, like Benavidez, like Plant. So it kind of surprises me, is it because Charlo doesn't really want to move up to 168s? So they've asked for Jaime Manguia, who's a Golden Boy fighter. So that doesn't really make that much sense to me because they've got a lot of middleweight, they've got a lot of super middleweights. So that move doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, just because I think it's not going to be easy for Golden Boy to send over Jaime Manguia, especially Jaime Manguia is somebody that they look at as a future star. So are they going to be willing to send Jaime Manguia over for a fight with Charlo? I'm not sure. I have my doubts about that. I'm not so sure that they're going to be willing to send him over. But, you know, I hope it does come off because it is a great fight. It would be definitely a fight that I would be interested in. I think it's a good style matchup as well. I think Jaime Manguia has a very comfortable. Jaime Manguia is a bit wild. He comes forward. He's very green. He likes to throw a lot of punches. Not the best defense, as you saw in the Rosado fight. I thought Rosado gave him a lot of trouble, but I thought Rosado and his style made for a good clash. And I think Charlo will win that fight. I think Charlo's a little bit more skilled compared to Jaime Manguia. I think his jab might cause Manguia a lot of problems, and I think he could potentially batter Jaime Manguia. But Manguia's pressure, his strength, his power could cause Charlo some issues. But I do expect, you know, Jermall, I think he's the more skilled guy out of the two. I think his jab, his movement may cause Manguia quite a bit of trouble. But then having said that, when you saw his fight against Montiel, he looked pretty poor to me, Charlo. So if that Charlo turns up, then it's a good chance that, you know, Manguia might even pull off the upset. I do think this is a great fight. It's a realistic option in my opinion. I think it's a good option. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this fight. If it does come off, hopefully they do accept it. I don't know whether they will accept it personally, because I think Golden Boy, are they going to be willing to let Jaime Manguia go and fight on another network? You know, because he is a future star for them. He's somebody that they view very highly. They hold in very high regards, and probably they think he could be a potential star in the future. So would you be willing to let someone that you think is a potential superstar go and fight on another platform? I'm not so sure, especially somebody that they feel that has a lot of financial mileage. I'd be very surprised if Golden Boy allow that. We'll have to wait and see. Possibly they may well do. But like I said, I think we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out. But yeah, I do like the fight. I'm not going to lie. I do like the fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a good fight. I think stylistically a good fight as well. And I think it's a good test for Charlo, who's not really had many tests of late. I think this is going to be a proper test and a proper fight, and one that the fans would be excited about. So yeah, I'm excited about this matchup. I think it's a good fight. I definitely think it's a good fight. And also Manguia's kind of gone a bit under the radar. You know, he's done okay, but you know, his performances haven't been that they haven't been that exciting for me. You know, his fight against Rosado, you were expecting a bit more, and the fight was quite close. Close in the sense that, you know, Rosado gave Manguia a lot of trouble, and you could see Manguia's recklessness in the fight. You could see that, you know, defensively not the greatest. So, you know, there's weaknesses there in Manguia's game. He's a good fighter, but I think he's got a long way to go if he wants to hit the heights that people think he's going to hit. I think he's got a lot to work on. I think he's got a lot to improve. But yeah, he's got ability. He's just a bit raw at the minute, in my opinion. Can he beat Charlo? I think Charlo might just be a little bit too much for him at this point. Not to say I don't think he'll stop Manguia, but I just think he'll beat him on points. Just because I think his jab is, I think he's just all round a bit more skilled fighter, and Charlo can make it. Charlo can get involved in a rough and tough fight, even though I don't think Charlo should. I think if Charlo gets into a rough and tough fight with Manguia, I think it suits Manguia. I think Charlo used to use his jab and put his jab in Manguia's face, and I think he wins the fight pretty, conclusively, running away with it. Because, like I said, I think Manguia's quite one-dimensional. He's not the most skilled guy. So I think Charlo will definitely have the upper hand there. But if Charlo gets and starts banging with Manguia, it could be trouble. It could be big trouble, if I'm honest with you. It could be some serious trouble. But I like that fight, I do. I ain't gonna lie, I do like that fight. I think it's a good matchup. I definitely think it's a good matchup, and I think it's one that I would be very excited about. So yeah, hopefully they make that fight. Like I said, I think there's gonna be a few issues. I think there's going to be a few issues in terms of Golden Boy allowing their future cash cow, somebody that they view as some, future cash cow, to go over to fight on another network. But then it is an opportunity for Jaime Manguia to fight for a world title. Those opportunities don't come around all the time, even though Manguia, I believe Manguia was a WBO light middleweight champion, wasn't he? So yeah, he was a middleweight champion, light middleweight. So look, it's an opportunity for him to become a 2-division world champion. It's against a credible name in the sport. It's an opportunity for Manguia to really go to the next level, that superstar level. So, hopefully he takes that opportunity. Hopefully Golden Boy and that look at the opportunity. But then again, you don't want to send your future cash cow, potential cash cow, into a lion's den where, he'll be up against it. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. But it's a good fight, and one that the fans would welcome for sure. So we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out. I'd be chuffed if they do make the fight. You can never hold your breath though, can you? You can never hold your breath, because, it would be a step in the right direction in terms of promoters working together, because we want to see promoters work together, right? We want to see these guys do business, but they always seem to keep things in the house. That's why it's kind of surprised me, because I don't think the fight's that big. And I'm surprised that they're willing to do work together, or Al Heyman, who normally does a lot of things in-house, is willing to make this fight. Why is that? Is that because he realizes now that in order for him to have pay-per-view fights, that they need to start making the big fights? It's a really bizarre, like I said, I'm quite surprised Al Heyman's done this, but there's definitely thinking behind this, because nowadays, in order to make pay-per-view fights, they need to be credible fights. I'm not even saying Jermall Charlo v Jaime Manguia is a really credible fight. It's a good fight. Is it a pay-per-view fight? I'm not sure. Obviously they'll put it on pay-per-view, but is it a fight that's going to sell well? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it'll be huge numbers, but I think it's one that you can sell and one that you can get on there. So yeah, it makes sense. And I would like to see the fight, to be honest with you. I think it's a good one. And I think it's a tough fight for Charlo. It's not an easy fight. That's a good fight. Manguia can really fight. He's tough as nails. He can punch. He's got a good output. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. So it's a great test for Charlo. I just think Charlo's the more skilled out of the two, and I think Charlo probably wins the fight on points. Hopefully they make the fight. These guys at middleweight, they don't seem to be fighting each other. It's really irritating and frustrating and annoying. So hopefully we can get the fight on between Manguia and Charlo. I think it would be a good fight, fan-friendly fight for the fans. And hopefully we can then get the middleweight guys to fight one another. Look, Golovkin looks like he's going to be fighting Canelo, so that takes that out. So while Golovkin's fighting Canelo, he's doing his thing. They'll probably let Golovkin keep his middleweight title as well. So Golovkin will always come back down if he loses to Canelo and maybe look to unify. I think after the Canelo fight, Golovkin might be done. I'm not so sure if Golovkin's going to go on after that. That's my personal opinion. I think Golovkin might just retire after the Canelo fight. Maybe he might not. Maybe he might continue. I just think he's quite old now. He's 40 years of age. And I think he was holding out for the Canelo fight. Now that he's got that, I can see him, going off into the sunset if he loses that fight against Canelo, or even wins. Who knows? He may even go, just quit if he wins. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But I really hope that, this fight between Manguia and Charlo happens, because I think it's a great fight. I do. I think it's a proper fight. I think it's a good fight for the fans. and it's a top middleweight fighting another top middleweight. You know, I really do like the fight. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you like the fight? Do you dislike the fight? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.